And because it's Pride Month, let's support gays' rights. And gays' rights is this gay's right to be messy online. So if you see any ads in this video, please watch them until the end. Thank you.
Emotional, damn it!
I guess we can call this the first movie for all the Andrew Tates out there. My god, y'all. Hello everyone, welcome back. If you watched my last video, you'll know that today is 365 Days Day. Do you guys remember the craze that it was in 2011 when 50 Shades of Grey came out? And then she released a sequel, and then a sequel to the sequel. And that was so popular with mommies and grannies everywhere, you know, because they were just so excited that they made it into a trilogy of movies, and those were also successful despite being absolutely horrendous. And it's so funny because it all started as Twilight fan fiction, if you can believe that. And then came 365 Days, the Dollar Tree version of 50 Shades, the movie to quench the thirst of all the misogynistic Andrew Tates out there. It's so terrible. It's supposed to be an erotic, sexy thriller, and it's just creepy and abusive. I don't know why people like this. Why are we watching this? He asked after watching it. If you don't know what 365 Days is, it's, well, first of all, a year. But also, it's Netflix's version of 50 Shades of Grey. It's a Polish and Italian production, I think. And it stars Massimo, a rich, hot dude who kidnaps Laura and holds her hostage for 365 days, during which she will either fall in love with him or not. And if she doesn't, he will release her 1 year later. Where do I even start? The premise alone is just crazy. This is a fantasy, right? You have this incredibly attractive man, super wealthy, rich as can be, and he takes an interest to this plain Jane, this average woman, but he likes her so much that he will go to the ends of the earth to get her. Now, in Fantasyland, it's incredibly appealing, you know, the idea that any random woman could just be picked up by this extravagant multimillionaire mask from alpha dude who will do anything to conquer your heart. But because it's Fantasyland, we tend to ignore all the red flags, because in Fantasyland, those red flags are sexy, they're hot, they're character traits that you can't help but try and change, because you need to fix him. You need to fix that man. Like, no, send him to therapy. That's why therapy exists, right? I wish men could go to therapy more often. That would save us a whole lot of trouble worldwide. And I got to thinking, who is the audience for this movie? At the end of the day, that's what this movie is about. You know, it's about a man owning a woman, treating her as property, molding her at his own image, and her just letting him. And I'm laughing, but I shouldn't be. It's no laughing matter. I don't think anyone is stupid enough to actually watch this movie and be like, aw, that's couple goals. I like to think that way, but I just don't know. Because they made 2 more. They made it into a trilogy, which, by the way, also based on books. I need to understand what is happening with these horny female writers that just write these fan fiction crazy stories. I get it. You're living your fantasies. You're living vicariously through this character. But do you have to make the story so problematic? The entire thing is just a mess. Like, the acting is terrible. The script is terrible. The editing is really confusing. And then they use these pop songs, and I'm assuming all of the singers are like Polish, to mask montages of shopping, of doing the dirty deed. I gotta be careful about what I say and what I show, by the way, because, you know, the whore got monetized. So the movie's very flawed. I don't even know. I don't even want to call it a movie. I love a good messy movie, a good show of a movie. I'm going to try and split it into 3 acts, though you'd need a coherent plot to actually split it into 3 acts. But before we get into it, there's going to be an ad soon. So again, if you want to support gay rights and support this gay's right to be messy online, then please watch the whole thing. And when you come back, we'll get into the story. See you soon. Okay, we're back, and I have wine. It's way too early to be drinking wine, but there's you just need some courage to get through these things. So, 365 days. Bear with. Okay, now we can start. So this mess starts in Italy, and we meet Massimo. He's with his dad, and they're like part of this crime family, and his dad is having a meeting with some other dude, and they're discussing a potential deal. But Massimo's not bothered about the family business. Who cares? He's paying attention to a woman at the beach, just twirling like a pretty girl. And then his dad comes over and is like, yo, Massimo, you need to take some more responsibility for the family. Enough pleasure party time, more being responsible. And he's like, yeah, man, for sure. And then his dad is shot, and the bullet goes through his dad and into Massimo. Now, I don't want to be mean, but if the bullet went into his dad and then, like, right after went into him, there was, like, some exchange of blood, right? Anyway, Massimo's holding his dying dad in his arms, and then he falls to the floor and he's about to pass out. And as he's fading into darkness, he sees this woman, the one that he was staring at the beach, just dancing over him. Very carefree, very nonchalant, very, sunny day. Now imagine if he was actually dying and that was the last thing he saw, a woman just laughing at him. And then we get the first transition, which is just a landscape imagery of Italy, beautiful Italia. And we get a pop song, the first of many, many pop songs. And it's very emotional. I thought you would know. It's honestly not bad. Like, the songs aren't bad. They're quite catchy. Oh, allergic to bullshit still. We do a time jump of 5 years, and we get to see Massimo and Laura in their natural habitat just to establish some characters in this thing. And Massimo is now the head of the family. His dad died, and Laura works as a strategist, I guess, and has to battle misogyny at work. Okay, all caught up. Oh, and then she records like a little video of her cleavage in the car, and we never see her send that to anyone or like understand the purpose of that. Laura is unhappily engaged to Martin. Martin works a lot, ignores her, doesn't satisfy her sexually. She is sexually frustrated and emotionally unfulfilled. Okay, great setup for a main character. And Massimo was sculpted by the gods. Like, this Italian, tall, muscular hunk is so hot. Again, I get the appeal of the fantasy. This man. It's a yes, daddy. And because it's been like 5 minutes of story, we need to get into our first sexy time scene, and it's really funny. On one hand, you have Laura. She's in her bedroom. She's supposed to be packing for a holiday in Italy to celebrate her birthday, but instead she's, indulging in some self-gratification. And Massimo is in his private jet because, he's really rich. And he sees a flight attendant and he gets her down on her knees and she starts performing fellatio. Hopefully that word isn't flagged by YouTube. And the editing goes back and forth between Laura and Massimo, and it's supposed to be this like very seductive, hot, and sexy sequence, and instead it's just creepy. The flight attendant is in tears, like she can barely breathe, and Massimo is just doing this grunting face. This is what I call commitment to the craft, because this image, this face is gonna be out there forever. How much did they pay you? I want to know how much they paid this man to look this foolish on film forever. They also get really, really edgy in the editing, and you can almost see whatever she has in her mouth. Obviously, it's not something organic. It's probably a prop. But yeah, they're bold. If you pause it just in the right spot, please don't. So Laura goes on holiday with Martin, and we quickly see that she really is truly very, very unhappy. It's her birthday. Martin gets everyone to sing her happy birthday, and she storms off. I guess it's bad that he did that. And that's the first time that she meets Massimo.
How you lost, baby girl?
This quickly becomes his sort of catchphrase. He says it a few times, and every time I just feel the need to vomit. Like, is so strong. And the next day, Laura, still very distressed over her wimp of a fiance, goes for a walk at night to cry and walk and cry and walk and walk and cry. And then she cries overlooking a cliff and the beautiful beach in Italy, because you know what? We may be on holiday and crying, but what we're not gonna do is ugly cry. We're gonna pretty cry this bitch. And then Laura is taken by some mysterious men. She wakes up in a strange room, and she's very calm for someone that just woke up in a strange place. And she walks around the house and finds this massive portrait of her, which is really crazy considering she has no idea where she is. And It also lets us know that Massimo is truly obsessed with this woman. Like, what the hell? It's been 5 years. Like, move on. But Massimo gets there and
Are you lost, baby girl?
first conversation between our lovebirds. And listen, she's Polish, he's Italian. They speak in English to each other, right? And I want to know who wrote the dialogue. This is probably going to be my only compliment to this movie. The lines are actually pretty decent the way they say it. Like, there's a lot of grammatical mistakes. When you're a foreigner and you speak in a foreign language, you're going to make mistakes that other people probably wouldn't. You're going to trip on your own words. You're going to switch the verb with the noun and stuff like that. And that happens a couple times. So kudos to them for keeping it authentic. Or maybe it was just a mistake. Who knows? And Massimo tells her why she's there. And a long story short, 5 years ago, the day that his dad died, he had seen Laura in passing, and then he saw her again at the beach. And then as he was holding his dying dad in his arms, he saw her again, and something told him that one day she would be his. I want to know how a man can be this attractive, this hot, and this rich, and still needs to abuse women to get to them. Isn't it crazy? Isn't it crazy? Not all men, but somehow always a man. And because something told him that one day she would be his, and he says this like she's a keychain, like she's a piece of property. This would probably be the first red flag if, he hadn't just literally kidnapped her. He spent the next 5 years trying to find her, and he did. And then he took her. His plan is, and hear me out, because this is kind of funny. He doesn't want to force himself on her because he wants an authentic relationship. So instead, he's going to hold her prisoner, hostage, whatever you want to call it, for 365 days. Mind you, this is her birthday, the day that she was kidnapped. And he tells her, next year, on your birthday, if you're not in love with me, then I will let you go. What exactly do you say to that if you're in that situation? Like, what? What? If this man has no chance of meeting a woman organically, willingly, with consent, then, like, the rest of men are truly and thoroughly But then again, it doesn't matter how attractive you are. If you're sick in the head, you're going to be sick in the head at every stage of your life. Hot or not, you're crazy. You need to go to therapy. And Laura is not having it. She's like, I'm not a piece of property. You can't just keep me. And he's like, well, I kind of can. And then he tells her he's not going to touch her until she wants him to. And he says that while pinning her down and touching her against her will. So straight away, we know that Massimo is a man of his word. And then she tries to run away and she witnesses Massimo and his henchmen kill a dude in cold blood, and she passes out because she has a weak heart. Oh yeah, did I mention that when she was kidnapped, she had some complications because she has a weak heart? Massimo even apologized and everything. He was like, I wasn't aware they had a weak heart. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that, Oh, leave it to men to apologize. I don't even know at this point, but Laura passes out because of her weak heart, and she wakes up and bam, Massimo's there, shirtless. And I gotta give props to Netflix in 365 days because I was promised a hot man, and damn it, he was delivered. He spends like 90% of the movie shirtless, and it's just, I'm not complaining. Let's just say that. And again, he pins her down on the bed and he's very aggressive. And it's like, this is why therapy is important. I feel like a therapist would have taught him how to process his emotions in a healthy way, You don't have to immediately assert your physical strength, your physical presence, especially if the person you're trying to convince you're strong is a tiny woman. You outweigh her by like 100 pounds at least. She also gets assigned a guy to cater to all of her wishes, and this is where it gets murky. This is where it gets murky because Massimo's now gaslighting her into being like, you know what? I'm gonna give you a personal person for you to ask whatever you want and do whatever you want. I have a lot of money. You're not even gonna have to work. I have a massive mansion. I can take you on shopping sprees and everything. All you have to do is interact with me against your will. And you're thinking, damn, this is like a paid holiday, right? She's in Italy. It's sunny. It's great weather. She doesn't have to work. And she's living with what I'm assuming is a millionaire, a hot, rich, muscular millionaire. Who would want to say no to that, right? I don't know, any sane person, because she's been kidnapped. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that when he kidnaps her and she's like, oh, I have a fiance, I need to go back to my life, he shows her ultra HD pictures of her fiance Martin cheating on her. And that's how he convinces her that she doesn't have a relationship worthy of going back to. So she's coming around to the idea because now we get a shopping montage. The first of many, by the way. This whole movie, half of it is just her shopping and spending his money. And honestly, if you're gonna have to go through this whole year with him, you might as well just fucking empty his wallet, girl. Empty his wallet. Put the mansion in your name and sell it. Make that man homeless. That's what I would do. But she doesn't. She's trying on clothes and he barges into the changing room because he feels entitled to seeing her naked whenever he wants because he's paying for it. Therefore, he owns it. While again, strangling her, choking her. He's obsessed with her neck. She storms out of the store. She's very upset. She's like, "You wear it," and throws the lingerie on him. Yeah, girl, that'll tell him, you strong ass boss bitch. She finds a couple of police officers and she kind of asks for help, but it's such a polite, calm way that I'm like, are you sure you were kidnapped or are you just having a tiff with your boyfriend? And then Massimo gets there and the police officers scatter away because he's got them in his pocket. He's rich. He's a drug lord. No, according to Massimo, he owns a bunch of clubs and hotels and stuff like that. And if you believe that everything is legal, let me tell you about the time that I was a pope. And when I was a pope, I told people that you shouldn't bring in gay men into the church because we have enough fat as it is. Get it? Have you seen the Pope's call? Okay. I think this is a good place to finish Act 1. She's now fully in his possession. He tells her, look, you can make this year as difficult or as easy as you want. You don't have a choice. You're going to have to stay with me. So either get with the program or you're going to have a miserable time. And I think this is a great way to start a long-lasting relationship. Damn. And now a quick ad break. Again, please support this gay's right to be messy online. And don't miss out on Act 2 because Laura's going to get saucy and naughty. Ooh. So Act 2, Laura has accepted her fate. She emails her mom and her friend and is like, hey, I got a job in Italy. I'll be here for a while. Okay. And she has dinner with Massimo by the pool. By the way, look at this whole setup. She was like, I want a normal dinner. And he's like, say no more. And he brings the entire restaurant. And see, this is the devil playing tricks. Because I look at that, I'm like, wow, that looks fucking nice. But then I'm like, no, wait. She is literally a hostage. They get to talking, and as much as you may think that Massimo is this alpha dude, alpha man, masculine, in control, he's a little bitch. And let me tell you why. He goes over to her, and he's like, I want you to teach me how to be kind and soft and respectful. You are a grown man, sir. You are a literal grown-up. You pay taxes. You can go to prison. What do you mean, teach me how to be decent? There's nothing hotter and sexier than a really attractive man saying, please be my mommy. Call me Mother Teresa. I'm ready to baby you into being a functioning adult. And then the next day she wakes up next to him in bed. I guess they're sleeping together now. Don't worry. No hanky-panky happened. He's not going to touch her until she says she wants to be touched. Apart from, like, strangling her neck and pinning her down and threatening her with physical violence, he's never going to touch her. So, next day, she wakes up, has a shower, and in comes Massimo, the man with no boundaries, the man with no respect for anyone else's personal space, and he just starts having a shower next to her. And Laura's feeling a little saucy, Laura's feeling a little naughty, and she's teasing him. She's staring at him, and he's like, do you want anything from it, or are you just going to stare?
Excuse me, what the fuck?
And she keeps teasing him, and I can't show any of this because it's all in the shower, and they're all very naked. Just rest assured, he has I'm not even looking at her, by the way. She's like invisible in my mind. Like, Laura can't see her. The only thing I'm paying attention to in this movie is this man. He's got a beautiful ass. And she teases him so much that he, again, loses control, and once again, hand on her neck, and it's like... He says something weird along the lines of, wait, I need to get this right. When all your life you take everything by force, it's hard to react differently, especially when someone takes away the pleasure you desire. Do not provoke me. Poetry. Poetry. I mean, long story short, he's basically telling her that he takes everything by force. He's a violent man. And if she keeps teasing him, he's going to take it out of her violently. Now, what happened to that whole I'm not going to touch you until you want me to touch you spiel? And then right after this, there's another really disturbing scene where he decides that he wants to go on his private jet somewhere. He needs to go to a business meeting. I don't know. And he's like, you're going with me. And she does her best to stand her ground. She's like, I'm not a piece of luggage that you can just carry around wherever. So they have to drag her into this plane, and then they have to restrain her with a bunch of seatbelts. And I don't even know if this is appropriate for YouTube, but like all of his henchmen are like on a plane, and she's right next to them, like behind their seat. And he assaults her because it's sexy. Again, Fantasyland, what in the hell are you guys cooking there? And after this, instead of being upset, rightfully so, no, she's toying with him, trying to make him jealous, eating ice cream seductively in front of a colleague of his. And then later she goes to his hotel room for no reason, and he ties her to the bed. And this is by far my favorite part of the movie, not because of its content. Again, sexy content. We've had a couple of instances, but it's only been an amuse-bouche, you know? We're waiting for the main course, which happens around 1 hour and 7 minutes if you want to check that out. Please don't skip to 1 hour and 7 minutes just to watch the hanky-panky. But she goes to his hotel room uninvited, out of nowhere. She just, I guess, wanted his company because he's such a great talker. And he restrains her to the bed. She's spread-eagled, can't move, can't like bring her, just can't do anything. She's like immobilized. And he, 1 second. He goes, I'm going to show you what you've been missing. I was sat because I was like, how are they going to make this any worse? He sits down like right in front of the bed. She has perfect vision to him. Again, I can't show any of this because it's very sexual. I don't want YouTube to take my video down. I don't want advertisers to not advertise on my video because, you know, we're growing. We get a nice zoomed in shot of his butt. Que rico, chico, que rico, me gusta tanto. And then he sits down and a woman comes in, all in leather, dominatrix style, and she just gets on her knees and, again, performs fellatio just like the flight attendant. And this is so funny. He's getting serviced by this random woman, and Laura is on the bed just like trying to control her urges because this is so hot to her, I guess, that she's just having these uncontrollable spasms in her body, horny spasms, excited spasms. And do y'all remember when he said, I'm going to show you what you've been missing? And then he finishes in like a minute, less than a minute. What exactly is Laura missing? I keep calling her Laura, but her name is Laura. So just bear with one or the other, it's her. And tell me what she's been missing, because so far the only thing that she's missing is doing all of the work and you lasting less than a minute. I don't want to be too critical, but that's embarrassing. Like less than a minute? Do you know how quickly a minute is? Like that's how long you do a normal plank for. And you couldn't even hold on for more than that? And that's what she's missing? Are you pulling my leg? Are you pulling my leg? Are you trying to put her off sleeping with you? Because you did that when you kidnapped her. But I guess this is just another layer of awfulness. But Laura isn't phased out by this. In fact, she looked incredibly horny looking at it, which is even more disturbing. And as a response for this clear act of abuse, she puts on her skimpiest dress and they go to a nightclub. And Laura spends the whole night basically trying to make him jealous, like dancing around with random men, until she dances with the wrong man. The wrong man who starts getting a little too handsy, and Massimo, he sees that woman. That woman is his, according to him. She's his property. So he goes over and he just pulls out 2 guns. Let's go, baby. Let's go. I will kill anyone who touches my lady. Crazy, right? Laura wakes up on a yacht. I don't know. Maybe I would like to wake up on a yacht one day. Like, what do I have to do? I guess all I need is a random Italian drug lord to take an interest in me and kidnap me and hold me hostage for a year. Massimo's talking to his, like, closest associate, like his right hand, whatever you call it, and he seems upset. Apparently, Massimo punched, or, I don't know, threatened the guy that they're supposed to go into a new business venture with. And Laura wakes up and she's like, why are you upset? And he's like, see what you did, what you made me do? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Is it my fault that he tried to rape me? Exactly. She was minding her business, so let's blame the man. But they have an argument and she falls on the ocean. My God, this woman is just so clumsy. She falls on the ocean, and he goes and rescues her like the white knight that he is. And now they're wet. They're all wet and sexy in this expensive yacht. What are we supposed to do? Mommy's basement is flooded. Do you want to come drain it? She wakes up because, again, she keeps passing out. This woman cannot stay awake for the life of her. And wait 2 seconds. Let me just refill my wine because it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? I don't even want to tell you how early it is, but she wakes up and she just can't resist Massimo anymore. Of course, he's naked because he just has to be naked all the time. And they finally do the dirty deed. They finally start bumping uglies. They start smashing, scissoring, doggy style, missionary, reverse cowgirl, opposite cowgirl. They start doing it everywhere. First, they start on the bed, like a normal couple. And I want to commend them for something, because the act starts with her going down on him, but then he goes down on her. And y'all, if any straight man is watching this, I doubt it because most of my audience is female, which I like. Gals, please don't leave me. That was homophobic. Also, am I in hell? Oh my God, is this what it's going to be like to go to hell for being gay? I kind of look good in red. Anyway, let me just... Okay, we're back, and I forgot where we were. Oh, I remember, because he goes down on her, and I've had a lot of conversations with women and men, like straight men and straight women, and from what I gather from the people that I've spoken to, it seems like men don't like to go down on women. And I'm like, first of all, what the f? Second of all, what the actual f? Third of all, do they really not go down on you? First of all, we need to rectify this because oral is a gift. Why are you not doing it? Women do it, and I'm sure not all of them enjoy it either because, some of you are nasty down there. And they just do it anyway because it's the sacrifice that women have to make, but men don't do the same sacrifice. I don't know. This is bullshit. Let me not get heated too much. Back to Massimo and Laura. They've been bumping uglies now for about 4 minutes. They do it on the bed. They do it in the bathroom. They do it standing up, lying down. They go to the front of the boat, the back of the boat. There's no neighbors around. They're in the middle of the ocean, of like a coast. I don't know. The yacht is gorgeous, and they're just christening every surface on this boat. They are doing it everywhere and anywhere. To the point where, I don't even know, one of them is tired and the other one's like, I want to go again. It's like, y'all calm down. Like, put it on a leash. Have a drink. Have a smoke. Talk about your past. Go to therapy. Get a therapist over and just, talk it out because this is not healthy. But we did spend an hour and 7 minutes of an erotic, sexy thriller without much of erotic, sexy scenes. So they really went all out. This sequence is about 4 minutes long, and you would skip it normally, but then you have this pop song playing in the background, trying to hook you in, no, stay, this is cool, and you're like, this is long. This is long. We get it. You didn't for a while, and now you're getting it all out. But yeah, now Massimo and Laura are finally together, and it's just we didn't even see them start to like each other or bond over any common interests. She was just around him for long enough to not have any other choice but to sleep with him. Is that where Stockholm Syndrome comes from? Because now that she's into him, I can guarantee you this is Stockholm Syndrome. We get another montage. They're going to a gala, so Laura gets a pair of puffs, gays, fairies, whatever you want to call it. They come over to give her a little sprucing of the boosing. That doesn't make any sense. They come over to spruce her up and make her presentable. And of course, we had to hire the gayest people in Poland, which is crazy considering that Poland has gay-free zones or something, areas where there's no LGBTQ people. And it's girl, let's be real. You're just delusional. They go to a gala because now they're in love, and they see Massimo's ex-girlfriend. She's pissed. She's pissed because she was dating Massimo while Massimo was looking for Laura. And as soon as he found her, he dumped his girlfriend. Well, ex-girlfriend now. And she's very bold. She's like, I'm going to kill her. Go for it, because this woman has no brain. So, of course, Massimo and Laura have more sexy time in a public bathroom. And he tells her that she's going to Poland. And this is the beginning of Act 3. So once again, if you want to support gay rights, support this gay's right of being messy online, and just watch the whole ad. Because after it, we go into Act 3, and you have no idea the cliffhanger they end this movie on. It is stupid. Act 3, we're cooking with gas now. Laura is in Poland because Massimo had to handle something, and we're assuming he's gonna handle his ex-girlfriend who's threatening to kill Laura because she's jealous. At this point, they should just all kill each other and leave Laura alone, but she's hooked. She's hooked. So she hangs out with her best friend and she tells her all about the sexy times that she had with Massimo. And then we get another montage. It's a makeover. And listen, Netflix has budget. They had budget for so much except wigs. Laura comes out of the hairdresser looking like a Karen, but like a wig Karen. Like that is not your hair. Could they not have afforded a lace front? Like hire some drag queens, like ask them for tips, whatever. Do your research. This, mama, this is garbage. But she's at the club and Martin's there, her ex-fiance, and he corners her. He's like, what happened? Like, we need to talk. She goes up to her hotel room and he follows her all the way to the door. And then she opens the door and he's like trying to force his way in until he hears the voice of Massimo in the dark. Are you lost, baby girl? Hearing his voice is enough for Martin to get the out, thank God. And Laura's pissed at Massimo. Laura's pissed because he hasn't said anything in a few days, and I guess she feels entitled to know all of his movements. And he's like, oh, don't worry, baby girl. I'm gonna make love to you right now and make you feel really special. So, of course, they start doing their sexy time. And as they're disrobing, she sees some bruises on his torso. Oh no, baby boy. Are you hurt, baby boy? She sees the gunshot wound of the bullet that went into his dad and then into him. And that just brings her emotions out. That just makes her so emotional and so vulnerable. She's like, this is when everything goes to shit. She's like, I don't need 365 days. I'm in love with you. You know what's funnier? It's been 2 months. It's been 2 months and they're in love. And they make sexy time to each other against these windows. And if you think this is insensitive to her accent, I want to assure you that I'm Portuguese. Portuguese people sound exactly like her. I'm mocking my own accent. The next day they wake up and who said women are impulsive? Massimo just proposes to her as they're waking up. Didn't even make her breakfast. Pillow talking and shit. And she's like, okay. I. Do y'all understand the severity of this? That they've known each other for 2 months? That he kidnapped her and held her hostage against her will? Threatened her on numerous occasions, basically trafficked her. What do you call it when someone puts someone against their will in a private jet and just travels with them like they're a piece of luggage? Isn't that human trafficking? But they're engaged now, so we get another shopping montage. They're shopping because they're going to someone's wedding. I don't know. They go to this random wedding of whoever, whenever. I don't even care. But he meets her parents, and it's very awkward and very contrived. What's the word I'm looking for? They're all stiff as a board. Like, it's like they've never spoken to another human being before. And rest assured, Laura doesn't want her parents to know what Massimo does. So they're not invited to the wedding. Her own parents are not invited to the wedding because she doesn't want them to know that her future husband is entangled in criminal activities. And she seems to be fine with that. But she does ask him to let her best friend go to the wedding because, after all, she knows everything about them. When her best friend gets there, they have a little chat, and she's like, are you nuts? Why are you marrying him? You're being forced, right? Her friend has a normal reaction, but Laura's like, no, you don't understand. Like, you don't have the mental capacity to really process the magnitude of our love. Also, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant, and I don't want to tell him because I don't know how he will react. Y'all, my goodness. 2 months ago, she was engaged to Martin, and now she's in love with someone to be married to him, and she's pregnant. And she doesn't want to tell him that she's pregnant. And after this very deep conversation by the beach, we haven't had a shopping montage in a while, so let's get into another one. They go wedding dress shopping, and on their way home, Laura speaks to Massimo on the phone. I don't even care what they're saying. Let's jump to the good part. Massimo's right-hand man, dude, whatever his name is, he gets a call. Apparently, there's a hit on Laura. Someone is trying to kill her. And I'm assuming it's Massimo's ex-girlfriend, but I thought that he had handled that issue. So maybe he didn't. I don't know. Very confusing. Laura and her best friend are in a car. They're being driven home. They're driving by these beautiful, like, mountains. It reminds me of Portugal. It's just, like, very vineyardy. And she's talking to Massimo on the phone, like, carefree, laughing. Oh, my life is perfect. I fell in love with my kidnapper, and I'm about to marry him. And Massimo's right-hand man is, like, in a rush to get to him. And then Laura goes through a tunnel, and they lose service. Massimo can't speak to her anymore. And then his right-hand man arrives, and he's, like, in stitches. And he just looks at him. I used to go to church. And this is the thank you that I get. You gave Massimo a wife? Hello? And his right-hand man gets there, and he just looks at Massimo, and Massimo immediately has tears in his eyes, and he drops to his knees. And then we see a shot of the tunnel, and there's a police car outside, and then the camera pans over to the ocean and the sky, and the movie ends. What? Oh my god, the cliffhanger to end all cliffhangers. And I guess now we gotta watch the second one to know what the hell happened to Laura in that car. And is Massimo ever gonna recover from losing the love of his life, the one he kidnapped and held hostage? My god, what a mess. What a mess. I do want to get serious for a bit and like touch upon the very concerning dynamics of their relationship and the fact that they're just being portrayed as this romantic storyline, because it's not romantic. First of all, Massimo is a controlling, abusive piece of shit, right? She's like naughty and disobedient, and he has to chastise her. I'm like, men out there, are you looking for a partner or a child? Because it's getting concerning. Like, this whole dynamic screams of a man wanting a daughter to, like, punish her, but then he also wants a partner that he can take to the bedroom and do unspeakable things to her. It's sick. Like, if you really think about it and you really analyze this whole dynamic that they're laying out in the movie, it gets really, really disturbing really quickly, and I don't think people are talking about it enough. It really does sound like a dad trying to punish his daughter for being badly behaved at school. I don't even know. It's sick. But I guess people are into this because the movie was incredibly successful. They made 2 more, and best believe I'm gonna make a video about those 2 because I cannot wait to see what happens. It got me on the edge of my seat. Again, it takes a very special kind of stupid to watch this movie and think, oh yeah, that's goals. But again, you never know. Some people really do have worms in their brains. It's a really bad mess. We've seen a lot of disturbing relationship dynamics, and this is by far the worst one. Like, the worst one. And I don't claim to be a relationship expert. I'm not a love expert at all. I can only speak from experience. And my experience is I did it around, and then I got into a relationship, and I'm still in that relationship, like, almost 8 years later. So maybe I just don't have experience dating as much as these people. But y'all need Jesus. This could all be fixed if, I don't know, therapy was made mandatory for people. That would be a great initiative, you know? But alas, it's not, and men are left being toxic and gross, and women are left having to deal with toxic, gross men because there's nothing else for them. And that's really sad. And that's it for today, I think. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that I gave you some laughs and something to think about. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like down below. Subscribe to my channel. And if you didn't like this video, then make sure you send it to a friend and say, like, can you believe this piece of video that I just watched? And just send it to them. I support that decision. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about the sequels. I don't know if it's gonna be next week or not. There's a movie that I really want to watch, Back to Black, the Amy Winehouse biopic. I'm not sure if it's gonna be good enough for a video, but if it is good, then you can expect a video from me soon. Until next time, stay safe, stay sane, stay stupid. Don't fall in love with your kidnapper, and stay stuttering. Bye, guys.